It's not every day that headlines shake the entire Social Security community, but tonight, something rare is unfolding. Whispers have turned into confirmation. And now, questions are flying faster than answers. Is a new $2,000 stimulus payment really being deposited within hours? Will it reach Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and SSA recipients immediately? Or is this just another rumor dressed up as hope? Let's get one thing straight. This isn't clickbait. This isn't speculation. This is about real developments involving the IRS, Treasury, and potential executive pressure that's pushing this payment into motion. And if you're living on a fixed income, retired, disabled, or receiving supplemental support, this update could directly affect your bank account as soon as tonight. This isn't like past announcements that left people waiting for weeks. This one has momentum. Verified reports from inside the IRS suggest urgent backend activity, with systems recalibrating for rapid disbursement. The rumored push from Washington, potentially tied to political strategy with upcoming elections, isn't just about generosity. It's about timing. And the clock is ticking. Here's the real question. If these deposits are scheduled, who qualifies automatically? What if your benefits come through Direct Express, NetSpend, or a traditional bank? Could you still see the funds in your account by morning? You're about to find out everything, fact-checked, straightforward, and stripped of fluff. Because with food prices soaring, rent creeping up, and monthly checks stretched thinner than ever, Americans need answers, not noise. Especially those who've worked hard their whole lives and deserve a system that works for them, not against them. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're breaking down exactly what's happening, who's getting paid, how soon, and what this shocking IRS move really means for every Social Security, SSI, and the recipient in the country. Let's start with what we know, and I mean the real facts, not the recycled guesses that get thrown around to stir up panic or false hope. The IRS backhand system has shown signs of preparation, and this is not just speculation from YouTube creators or bloggers. It's based on insider data leaks and financial tech tracking that monitors movement on federal payment rails. So when we hear chatter about $2,000 deposits hitting bank accounts tonight, we have to examine what that really means, who might be impacted first, and how the process typically plays out when the IRS acts with this level of urgency. Now, historically, we've seen the IRS operate in waves when it comes to direct deposits. The first wave usually goes to people who have their banking information on file, most commonly those who receive benefits through direct deposit for Social Security, SSI, or SSDI. If your payments typically hit your account on a fixed schedule, chances are your info is already in the system, and you would be first in line once the funds are released. That's good news for many seniors and disabled Americans who rely on Direct Express or standard bank routing. But this time, things may move even faster than we've seen in the past. There's a reason for that. Unlike earlier stimulus rounds, which went through rounds of congressional debate and months of confusion, this move appears to be tied to executive-level influence and an emergency disbursement framework. With political pressure mounting and inflation still causing havoc for millions of households, this stimulus isn't just financial, it's strategic. There's midterm and presidential campaign noise in the background, and both parties are trying to win over older voters. Seniors, quite frankly, are the backbone of the voter turnout system, and politicians know that. So while we wait for official confirmation from the White House or the Treasury, the IRS is already doing the groundwork in case the green light comes down the pipe, possibly within hours. Now, let's be clear, there's always a danger in getting hopes up. No one should ever plan their grocery budget or rent payment based on what might happen. But ignoring the signals would be equally irresponsible. Because if these funds are indeed scheduled for release, it won't be one of those slow trickle effects. This could be a same-day or next-day impact for many. And that makes all the difference for people who've been scraping by, stretching their monthly benefits just to keep the lights on and the medicine cabinet stocked. Another thing that's making this round different is the targeting. Sources close to the Treasury suggest that this $2,000 stimulus could be laser-focused on fixed-income recipients. That includes folks on Social Security retirement, SSDI for disability, SSI for supplemental support, and even VA beneficiaries in certain brackets. If you've been part of the federal support net for a while, you may remember how past rounds excluded some recipients due to tax filing delays or missing bank info. This time, they're trying to fix that. The back-end systems are reportedly syncing with SSA, VA, and even Medicaid data to make sure fewer people fall through the cracks. That's big. But here's where it gets interesting, and also a little frustrating. The government hasn't officially announced the release yet. They're moving behind the scenes, preparing as if the announcement is imminent, but not yet confirming anything publicly. It's like waiting for a storm to hit when all the radar maps say it's coming, but the news anchors still won't say the word hurricane. That's why this moment is so confusing for so many Americans. You've got neighbors and friends calling their banks, checking direct express portals, refreshing their app screens every 5 minutes, because if you're living on a razor-thin budget, $2,000 isn't just a number. It's groceries, rent, gas, maybe even a little breathing room for the first time in months. So if you're sitting at home right now, watching this and wondering what to expect, here's what you need to do. Stay informed, stay calm, and stay ready. Watch for updates on your bank or card provider's official pages, not just social media. Look out for any official IRS alerts or SSA notices. And if you've got access to a community forum or trusted news source, keep the conversation going, but try not to spread panic. Because this could still go either way. Yes, the systems are prepping. Yes, insider reports suggest the funds are being queued. But until the official word drops, we have to stay balanced. One more thing we need to talk about, and this is just as important as the money itself, is trust. A lot of folks out there feel burned. They've seen news stories promise checks that never came. They've waited in lines, filled out forms, talked to robots on 1 to 800 numbers that never called back. So I completely understand if you're watching this with a skeptical heart. That's healthy. But what's also healthy is demanding transparency. If our government is making moves that impact millions of seniors, they owe us a clear, timely explanation. Because whether you voted red or blue or something in between, your bills don't care about party lines. There's another layer here that's not being talked about much, and that's how this impacts people living with disabilities. If you're on SSDI, every dollar counts twice as much. Rising prescription costs, co-pays, transportation struggles, it all adds up. And many people on SSDI live alone or without a strong support network. So while a $2,000 check might not solve everything, it could mean finally getting your medication filled, paying down a utility bill that's been hanging over your head, or just sleeping a little easier without the anxiety that comes from constant financial pressure. Meanwhile, those on SSI, many of whom are among the lowest income individuals in the country, often get ignored in these conversations. They don't always file taxes, and they don't always have banking infrastructure. But this time, the IRS says it's attempting to include even those recipients through the direct coordination with the Social Security Administration. That could mean even unbanked individuals will see their payments routed through Direct Express or mailed with priority. It's also worth mentioning that some third-party financial apps like NetSpend or GoBank have historically posted stimulus funds earlier than traditional banks. So if you use one of these services, keep your eyes on notifications and early balance updates. We've seen cases in previous rounds where money showed up late at night or in the early hours before the IRS even issued a press release. So yes, tonight is possible, not guaranteed, but absolutely worth watching closely. To wrap this up, let's bring it home. There's a window of possibility open right now that hasn't been open in a long time. It's not hype, it's movement. The systems are shifting, the signals are firing, and it could all come down to the next few hours or days. If this stimulus hits, it could provide a desperately needed boost for millions. But even if it's delayed, your voice matters more than ever. Make the calls. Send the emails. Vote with your wallet and your ballot. Because the decisions being made in DC affect every kitchen table in America, including yours. And I promise you this, as soon as the next piece of news breaks, I'll be right here to break it down, clearly, calmly, and truthfully. Because you deserve nothing less.